The girl was not only beautiful, but also incredibly talented in writing. At a young age, she had already won a prestigious screenwriting award, gaining both fame and fortune. Yet this dazzling girl was suddenly attacked by the Bandage Man and brutally murdered soon after. The truth behind it was horrifying. One day, Ran and Conan were invited by Sonoko to a villa for a party. When the two arrived at the suspension bridge, they suddenly saw a man standing there, completely wrapped in bandages. Ran assumed he was one of the guests attending the party, so she asked Sonoko about his identity. However, Sonoko had no idea who he was. Sonoko then explained that this gathering was actually a matchmaking party, and all the boys who came were very handsome. After that, Ran opened the doors of several guest rooms one by one and looked inside, but she had no idea that this small action would later bring a deadly disaster upon her. Soon, everyone gathered in the dining room. Sonoko introduced each person to Ran. They were Masaru, the photographer Hiroshi, Ryuichi, Chikako, and Sonoko's older sister Ayako. All of them were members of the University Film Club. Ran greeted everyone one by one. The atmosphere was warm and friendly at first, but when Ayako mentioned a girl named Atsuko, everyone's expressions suddenly changed. Conan noticed their strange reactions. From Ayako, he learned that Atsuko had also been a member of the film club, but she later suddenly took her own life. After that, everyone went off to do their own things. While Ran was chatting with Sonoko, Masaru walked over and started flirting with her. He invited Ran to take a walk together in the rain. Then he grabbed Ran's hand and pulled her away. Conan was extremely annoyed, so he followed behind them and secretly watched. Masaru tried to kiss Ran while taking advantage of the situation. Ran pushed him away and hurriedly ran into the forest, but she soon got lost. Just then, an axe suddenly swung down toward her. The attacker was the same Bandage Man she had encountered earlier. The Bandage Man prepared to attack again. At the critical moment, Conan and Sonoko arrived in time, forcing him to retreat. After returning to the villa, Ran and Conan told everyone about their encounter in the forest. Everyone found it hard to believe. Sonoko pointed out that the direction where the Bandage Man escaped led directly back to the villa. Ryuichi said that when he first arrived at the villa, he had already seen the Bandage Man standing on the suspension bridge. Ran also recalled that she had encountered the Bandage Man on the bridge when she first arrived. The other two people confirmed her story as well. Ayako explained that although there were other buildings nearby, the only way to reach this villa was by crossing the mountain path and passing over the suspension bridge. The situation became increasingly serious. Hiroshi suggested contacting the police, but the villa's phone was no longer working. Ayako thought the storm had caused the malfunction, but Ryuichi believed it was the work of the Bandage Man. He hurriedly tried to escape from the villa, only to discover that the suspension bridge had already been destroyed. Masaru believed the bridge had collapsed because it was old and damaged. However, Conan noticed that the wooden posts were covered with knife marks. The bridge had been deliberately cut by someone. Ryuichi became extremely frightened, but Chikako treated it as nothing more than a prank meant to scare everyone. After saying that, she returned to the villa alone. Ayako, worried about her, followed after her. When they arrived at the entrance, Chikako discovered a letter stuffed through the gap of the door. After reading the contents of the letter, she was visibly shocked, but she quickly regained her composure and told Ayako not to call her for dinner. Then she went into her room alone. This unusual behavior made Ayako suspicious. During dinner, Ayako sighed and said that the party had completely failed. Everyone looked gloomy and depressed. Just then, Masaru and Hiroshi entered the dining room. Ryuichi also returned after repairing the roof. Hiroshi planned to take commemorative photos of Ran and Sonoko. However, Ryuichi suddenly saw a figure running past outside the villa. Everyone immediately looked toward the window. Hiroshi quickly opened the window to check. Conan climbed out and rushed toward the depths of the forest. The other three men followed closely behind him. While searching through the forest, they found a bloody, severed leg on the ground. Ryuichi then discovered an arm nearby, but while searching, Hiroshi tripped over something. To his horror, he discovered that it was Chikako. Her body had already been brutally dismembered. Everyone returned to the villa and revealed the tragedy to the others. Ayako felt extremely regretful. If it weren't for this party, Chikako might never have been killed. Hiroshi blamed everything on the Bandage Man. Masaru suggested locking all the doors and windows to ensure everyone's safety. However, during this process, Conan noticed something suspicious. There were no slippers belonging to Chikako in the shoe cabinet. If she had left through the front entrance, Her slippers should have been left there. Sonoko guessed that the bandage man had sneaked into the villa and dragged Chikako away while she was asleep, but Ran immediately rejected that possibility. When everyone left to chase after the bandage man, she had checked Chikako's room. The doors and windows had all been locked from the inside. Conan asked Sonoko whether the villa had any other exits. Sonoko suddenly remembered that there was another back door. Sure enough, Chikako's slippers were found placed near the back door. This proved that Chikako had left the villa through the back door, but Conan couldn't understand why she would leave through the back door covered with dirt. Sonoko added that outside the back door was the gas valve, and normally only Ayako went there. After returning to his room, Conan still couldn't figure out why the bandage man had attacked Ran. However, Ran believed that perhaps the bandage man was simply attacking people randomly. After saying that, Ran turned off the light and went to sleep, but Conan still couldn't fall asleep. He couldn't understand why. After attacking Chikako at the back door, the bandage man deliberately came to the front entrance and let everyone see him. Just then, a breeze blew the window open. The next moment, the bandage man suddenly appeared holding an axe. Conan kicked Ran awake, but the bandage man slammed him heavily into the wall, injuring his foot. Conan turned up the volume of his voice changer and shouted loudly. Ran immediately woke up. When she saw the bandage man, she screamed in fear, and Sonoko rushed over after hearing her voice. After everyone in the villa learned about Ran's attack, they were unable to understand one thing. With all the doors and windows locked, how did the bandage man get into the room? Ryoichi discovered a hole broken through the window. Hiroshi speculated that the bandage man had climbed up the large tree outside and entered through the second floor. But Conan became suspicious. It had been pouring rain that night. If the bandage man had entered from outside, there should have been traces of mud left on the floor. Hiroshi suggested that everyone gather in the dining room and wait until morning. Ran carried Conan on her back and headed to the dining room. At that moment, Conan noticed that Ayako was wearing Chikako's necklace. Ayako explained that when everyone went outside to chase the bandage man, the necklace had fallen near the entrance, so she picked it up and wore it. Conan became suspicious. When Chikako was taken away, the necklace was still around her neck. Even if it had fallen off, it should have been left in the forest, not at the entrance. Sonoko asked Ran if she had clearly seen the bandage man's appearance. Ran said she hadn't. Conan explained that he had physically fought with the bandage man earlier. The attacker had an ordinary build, neither fat nor thin. However, Masaru did not agree with Conan's conclusion. Conan then noticed Hiroshi's camera and suspected that it might have captured something from the crime scene. After checking the photos, they confirmed that the camera had captured the bandage man carrying Chikako past the window. At that moment, Chikako's necklace was still around her neck. This meant Chikako had been taken away from inside the villa by the culprit. But to reach the forest outside, the culprit had to pass through the central hall of the villa. And at that time, everyone inside the villa had been gathered together. Conan asked Ayako if Chikako had shown any unusual behavior before she disappeared. Ayako recalled that before returning to her room, Chikako had read a letter. After that, her expression became very strange. Conan concluded that the letter was what lured Chikako outside. Therefore, the person who wrote the letter had to be one of the people inside the villa. However, Conan still couldn't understand one thing. Why did the bandage man target Ran? At that moment, Conan suddenly remembered something. When they had just arrived at the villa, Ran had accidentally entered 3 guest rooms and seen the 3 men changing clothes. Conan asked Ran to confirm this. Ran had a vague memory of the incident, but she couldn't remember the important details. At that moment, the villa suddenly lost power because of the thunderstorm. Ran accompanied Ayako to get some candles. On their way back to the living room, the sound of breaking glass suddenly echoed. Then the bandage man appeared and swung an axe at them. Ran instinctively reacted and blocked the incoming attack, but the bandage man disappeared without a trace. Conan became even more certain that the culprit's true target was Ran. Just then, a scream came from the living room. Everyone immediately rushed back. The second-floor window had already been shattered, and broken glass was scattered across the room. Everyone assumed that the bandage man had smashed the window from outside. However, Conan noticed that the window lock had been opened from inside. It was obvious that the culprit had opened the window inside the room, stepped onto the balcony, and then smashed the glass to mislead everyone. Conan was certain that the culprit had to be one of the 3 men staying in the villa. Then, Conan noticed marks on the balcony railing left by a thin wire. At that moment, Conan had already figured out the entire truth. Afterward, Conan used a tranquilizer dart to make Sonoko fall asleep. and borrowed her identity to reveal his deduction. The bandage man was actually someone from inside the villa. The culprit used Chikako's neighboring balcony to sneak into Rand's room. After Rand screamed, the culprit returned the same way, changed his clothes, and blended back into the group. The scene where the bandage man appeared carrying Chikako outside the window was actually a trick using a piano wire and a fake body. The culprit attached Chikako's head to a dummy, set up the piano wire, and then cut the rope, causing the dummy to quickly slide past the window. Afterward, the culprit simply retrieved the dummy and the body. The only person who could have carried out this trick was Ryuichi, who had been repairing the roof on the second floor at the time. The marks left by the wire on the balcony railing were the evidence. Ryuichi immediately began making excuses. He claimed that he had gone outside with everyone else to chase the bandage man, and he had no chance to deal with the body. However, Conan pointed out that Ayako had previously found Chikako's necklace at the entrance. When the dummy carrying Chikako's body flashed past the window, the necklace was still around Chikako's neck, but after everyone had left the villa to search outside, the necklace somehow appeared at the entrance. The truth was that Ryuichi controlled the dummy carrying Chikako's body across the window to create the illusion. Then he returned inside the villa himself. At that time, hidden beneath the fake fat belly on his body was actually Chikako's head. Afterward, he pretended nothing had happened and followed everyone outside to search for the bandage man. When he passed through the entrance, Chikako's necklace accidentally slipped off and fell there. Ryuichi had no way to deny it anymore. The reason he kept denying everything was because he was afraid everyone would discover his disguise. He had hidden Chikako's head inside a specially made fake belly and carried it with him the entire time. By staying among everyone else, he perfectly created his own alibi. Afterward, he followed everyone into the forest and used the chaos to discard the head. When Ran accidentally entered the guest rooms earlier, she unknowingly saw his real slim figure. That mistake made Ryuichi extremely anxious. To protect the secret of his disguise, he attacked Ran again and again, trying to silence her and eliminate the threat. The broken suspension bridge was also destroyed by Ryuichi on purpose. That way, he could trap everyone inside the villa. Ryuichi also used Atsuko's name, the girl who had committed suicide 2.5 years earlier, to write the letter and successfully lure Chikako outside alone at night. Facing this flawless deduction, Ryuichi finally confessed the entire truth. Back then, the original script that Atsuko poured her heart into creating was stolen by Chikako, who claimed it as her own. Chikako used the stolen work to win a prestigious screenwriting award, gaining both fame and fortune. Unable to endure the pain and injustice, Atsuko eventually lost all hope and took her own life. To avenge his dear friend, Ryuichi had secretly planned everything for 2.5 years. Using this club gathering as an opportunity, he carefully prepared this revenge tragedy. After everything was over, Sonoko became extremely proud of herself, because she believed she had also become a detective. However, she had no idea how she had actually solved the case.